Welcome to Business Insight Fredericton. I'm your host, Krista Ross, CEO at the Fredericton Chamber of Commerce. Today, we're talking to business owners who are past presidents of the Fredericton Chamber of Commerce. During these interviews, we maintained social distance. However, they were recorded before the mandatory requirement for masks. First up, we have Karen Grant, President of Kiers Marketing.
We won this award in 2011. That's the Fredericton Chamber of Commerce Business Excellence Award. It's even more special to us because this is our logo. We designed this logo for that award.
Karen, you were recently the president of the Fredericton Chamber of Commerce in 2019-2020. Tell me about your year.
It was a great year. Kicked off in June with the AGM. Summer was a bit quieter, but we did have our physician recruitment event. Then we were getting ready for the Canadian Chamber Conference in September. I sat on the policy committee once again to review all the policies that were going to be brought forward at the Canadian Chamber event. And then we moved right on into fall. We had a federal election. We met with our newest MP. We had Business Excellence Awards. We had Christmas events. And we had our State of the Province, which was, as always, a great event. And February was a little bit quieter. We were getting ready for our parliamentary breakfast, and then COVID hit, and then everything stopped. So although the work of the Chamber continued on, the role of the volunteers was very much diminished.
What year did you begin volunteering with the Fredericton Chamber of Commerce, and what were your various roles over the years?
Kiers Marketing joined the Chamber, Fredericton Chamber, in 1998. And I wasn't very involved in Chamber activities until about 2002. At that time, I joined the Small Business Committee. It was more of a educational advocacy committee, and then I joined the Business Excellence Awards Committee. So that was my first committee that I was involved in, and I think that was around 2007. And then I joined several other committees. In 2014, I was invited to join the board.
What would you say has been the highlight of your participation with the Chamber of Commerce?
For me, the highlight was actually attending the conference, the Canadian Chamber Conference, where member chambers from across Canada attend. And it's such a great network of people. There's so many different ideas that come forward.
As a business owner, how do you balance work time, personal time, volunteer time?
Well, by nature, I'm a scheduler and a planner. So I found with my role at the Chamber as a board member and then as an executive member, it made it easy for me to balance everything.
So you've told us about your volunteer job. Why don't you tell us about your real job, your day job, and your business? What do you do here, and what types of services and products do you have?
My business is Kiers Marketing, and we are a full-service marketing agency, and we do everything from branding to web design to printing of banners and booths and posters and displays, and everything a business needs to market themselves, we can do that right here. My role is, I would say, overall management. I look after scheduling, I look after project management, I send the invoices, I pay the bills.
How did the business get started, and what year was that?
So the business started in Fredericton in 1984 by the former owner, Roelof Kiers. I joined Kiers in 1990, and I was the office gal. And as the company grew, we hired more people, and then in 2002, he decided he was going to sell the business. So he came to the employees first and said, I'm selling, you have first option to buy, or I'm going to put it to market. For us, it was a no-brainer.
So who do you consider your main clientele?
Small and medium-sized businesses.
So you help people with their marketing?
Yes.
So tell me about how you market.
We're so focused on our clients' needs that we actually now schedule our own marketing discussion. Okay, guys, we need to do some stuff. What are we going to do? And then we schedule it.
Tell me about your social media presence.
We are on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We also have a marketing tip that we send out bi-weekly to our subscribers, which we also post on our website under the Kiers blog.
So do you give much thought to competition?
We have a lot of competition, not just other businesses like ours, but our competition now is anybody that has a computer. You can log on and get a Canva account, and you can do your own designs. The difference between using Canva and using a marketing company is you get the experience of marketing.
So this is a long-term Fredericton business, mid-80s. What do you attribute your longevity to?
We are very customer service and client focused. The Kiers motto is there's 24 hours in a day, and we will use all 24 hours, if we have to, to get the project done for our clients on time and on budget.
As a business owner, what is the most difficult thing you've experienced?
So COVID was really difficult. That was the first time that we've not all worked together. We were working remotely. I was still working from the office, but everybody else was working from home, and Paul would come in as needed to do printing. That was challenging, but it also showed us that we could do that if we had to.
How do you feel about the economy and the business climate in New Brunswick overall?
COVID happened, everything shut down, and everybody was holding on to all their money. Nobody wanted to spend any money. So everything slowed down. It's taking some time to come back. I felt that once things started to open up again, things definitely did pick up.
Given that a lot of people do their own social media, do you think there's a role for a marketing firm to help guide them so they don't make faux pas and mistakes in their social media?
Definitely. We really position ourselves as a company's in-house marketing department if they don't have one. A lot of small businesses don't have a marketing department. They don't even have a marketing person. They have a business owner, and they are doing all the work themselves on top of everything else that they have to look after. So they rely on us to help them with their messaging.
So you offer a variety of services. Does a client have to take all of those services, or is it an a la carte menu where they can pick and choose what they would like to have?
They can pick and choose what they would like to have. Some clients, we only do their wide format printing. They just give us a print file and we print it. Others get us to do everything right from the branding to their websites, to their other materials that they want to market themselves. Some people already have branding and they're looking to do collateral marketing material.
Are there any unique regulatory issues that your industry faces?
Primarily around trade shows. So for example, a booth like this one that we have here, the fabric displays that many businesses are going with now, they have to be fire retardant. So when they're going into a big exhibit hall, they have to have certification that the material that the booth is printed on is fire retardant.
Tell me about organizations that have helped your business.
The biggest organization that helps our business is the Fredericton Chamber. That's our target market, are these business people. So being part of the Fredericton Chamber is great for our business because we get to meet with other business owners face to face.
So currently you're serving a year as past president of the Fredericton Chamber of Commerce. What next? What volunteerism is next for Karen Grant?
I like being involved. I'm a worker bee.
Welcome back to Business Insight Fredericton. In this part of the show, we'll meet Paul Simmons, a former president of the Fredericton Chamber of Commerce and owner of Robert Simmons. Paul, you were president of the Fredericton Chamber of Commerce in the years 2016 and 17. Tell us a bit about your year as president.
My year as president was very busy and a wonderful experience.
When did you first start volunteering with the Chamber, and what different roles did you have at the Chamber?
So I would have started volunteering in 2012, and the roles that I would have been is through the different committees.
What would you say was the highlight of your participation in the Chamber?
We're lucky to have the community, the business community in the Chamber that we have in our area, and I would say people were certainly the highlight.
As a business owner, how do you balance your work life, your volunteer life, and your home life? Some people call this work-life balance. Some people say there's no such thing.
It takes discipline to balance those components, and I'm very fortunate. I have a understanding family and an engaged team to enable me to be able to volunteer to the degree that I do.
Did you find that your volunteer work with the Chamber came back to benefit your business?
I would say that the reason that I volunteered with the Chamber is because I believe in the Chamber and its mission and vision for our community. I would say it probably didn't hurt business, but we didn't measure it in that respect.
You've told me a bit about your volunteer life. Tell me about your business. Tell me about your products, your services, and how the business got started.
We just left to start our own business after 20 years in the industry. It was a leap of faith, and I was 38 years old with 2 kids and a mortgage, and didn't know what I was going to do or do at the time, but we got through it, and it's been a great journey. And fortunately, we've had a great clientele, and we have a great team that has been with us many years. One thing about our business is we market to the province, and we utilize traditional forms of marketing as well as a social media platform. In terms of digital space, we certainly have embraced digital marketing, and our web sales are up in considerably over the last 6 months, particularly through COVID.
Tell me about the products that you have and the type of clients that you attract.
We would compete with stores in Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, and our premise is that we save our clients time because they're generally very busy. We curate a wonderful assortment of products for our marketplace. So it's educated gambling, and we've done it for years, and it is not for the faint of heart.
Tell me how the business is structured. How many employees do you have? How does it all work?
There's 2 divisions, a men's division and a ladies division, and they encompass 3 employees in each division and part-time. We have a tailor who works in his own right, and a financial admin person.
In the last number of months, we've gone through a bit of an unprecedented time with COVID-19. How did that impact your business?
We shut down, and it's had an impact, and I believe it'll have an impact for years to come. The retail sector is an important sector in jobs. Nationally, we occupy about 10.1% of the labor market, and with the change of the retail experience, you have to appreciate the fact that independents play an important role in the community, hence the Chamber of Commerce as an independent business.
So you already had an online presence prior to COVID-19. Have you been able to enhance that? Did it grow?
Just prior to COVID, redoing our platform, which was very simple to do because it was an existing platform, and we loaded a number of products onto that, and we were in here shipping boxes throughout North America. We're entering into a new product to launch with that in the next probably 2 weeks, which will enhance online in-store experience to mirror our in-store experience. We're also working with, through University of New Brunswick Catalyst program, working with a couple of students to develop a AI component to the in-store shopping.
I know you have a great marketing and advertising presence online because I see your posts on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter. So how has that attracted clients to your business?
It is a component of marketing that is new and has become tremendously important since COVID.
How does word of mouth work for you in this business?
It's the best. Word of mouth is the best.
What do you attribute your longevity to?
I would attribute my longevity to our clientele. They've been very supportive. We're very lucky. And a close second to that would be our team. I would say thirdly would be community engagement through the chamber, through funds raising.
As an entrepreneur, what do you find are the big challenges that you face?
Probably the biggest challenge most entrepreneurs face would be the feeling that they're alone, and they're not alone. And through the TME program at UNB, the Summer Institute, the Wallace McCain Institute, the Chamber of Commerce, through Planet Hatch, and all the different entrepreneurial support. The other thing that probably a lot of entrepreneurs don't understand is they can reach out to other entrepreneurs.
How do you feel about the economy in New Brunswick? What do you think the opportunities are?
I believe the economy in New Brunswick is, like everywhere else, going through a revitalization in a slow period. I think it requires some planning. I think the private sector certainly will help the economy. I believe that there has to be a support for entrepreneurs, not necessarily financially, but in terms of resources, which there is and is growing. I believe immigration is important. I believe that a refresh of the tax system is important.
If you were able to give just one piece of advice to a budding entrepreneur, what would that be?
The only thing in life for sure that you know for sure is that you don't know. And until you do something, you'll never know the answer. The other takeaway I've always tried to live by is 90% of what you worry about doesn't even happen.
What are you most proud of?
I'm most proud of my family and my marriage.
In the final segment of our show today, we'll meet Laura Oblinas, President and CEO of Stiletto Make a Point, and also a former president of the Fredericton Chamber of Commerce. So you were president of the Fredericton Chamber of Commerce in 2005, 2006. Tell me about your year as president.
The year as president was a great year. I mean, leading up to being president of the chamber, I was on the board for about 6 years and involved for about 8. And it was a great year. Lots of events.
If you had to pick a highlight of your year as president, what would that have been?
Probably the State of the Province address, always a highlight, because at the time we were at the Delta, and so it was still less than 500 people that attended the event at that time. And we were really trying to be able to expand it. But it ended up coming off without a hitch, as always, and it was a really great time.
Did being the chamber president change the trajectory of your career?
I think that my entire experience at the chamber probably changed it, because it opened my eyes to what was happening behind the scenes that you don't necessarily know when you're a resident or even when you're working in a business. Being exposed to the government affairs committees really changed, for me, what I ended up doing in my career and in my life. And all of these things that I've done are really because of the foundation that I would have accomplished at the chamber.
As a business owner, how do you balance volunteer time and work time, and for that matter, family or personal time?
Volunteering is about the idea of giving back in some way. And so for me, when I was in my 20s and early 30s, I had the time to be able to commit and be on a whole bunch of committees and put in the time and the effort that was needed to both help the community, but also, again, I got so much out of it because I grew so much as a person. But now I invest time in mentoring up-and-coming talent that are trying to sort of get established, and in some sense, that's volunteering as well.
How many hours are we talking about as a volunteer?
For me, it didn't seem like work at the time, and it didn't seem like, oh, I'm going to count the hours. I don't think I'd want to count the hours because I bet it would be extraordinary. There's a lot of benefits to your own persona and your own perspective and your own learnings by volunteering.
We've talked a lot about your volunteer work. I'm really interested in learning more about your business. I want to know what do you do, what are your services, and I really want to know, how did you come up with the name?
So stiletto means both a dagger and a shoe, and so initially when I was trying to come up with something for consulting, I was trying to come up with something that was different than just saying consulting or, Laura Oblinas Consulting. And because the nature of what I decided to do when I started my business was take all the things that I loved and all the roles that I had, and so a dagger and a shoe in the stiletto is that you need to look at both sides of the equation. So that's actually why I decided on the name. And so now we kind of go by Stiletto Make a Point, because it's about making a point and having an impact.
What would be the suite of services that you offer to your clients?
We specialize in helping communities and companies expand on high impact projects. So either companies looking to expand into new markets and develop their products and services into new verticals, and communities in helping to build clusters and new opportunities for economic development. So our main clients would be economic development organizations, municipalities. We also work at the provincial and federal levels of government and helping them with policy development and execution. We would work with academic institutions, helping them to understand where they can focus their curriculum more effectively. Most of what we do would be in high-tech sectors, but it's also about finding the opportunity for cluster development with traditional economies like agriculture and oceans and fisheries.
Who would be your main clientele, and how many clients would you have at any given time?
But we have a good core group of regular clients that we would work with and have worked with for years, and then others that we're always onboarding new clients.
So how is your business structured, and how many people work with you?
So we have about a dozen employees that are based both here in Fredericton and also in Ottawa and Toronto. And then we have another probably about a dozen associates that we would pull in on a contractual basis.
In order to have projects on the go, as much as you've talked about, you'd have to have projects at all stages of the pipeline all the time. How do you feed that pipeline? Where do you find your clients?
So about 90% of our projects would come from referrals and repeat businesses. And as I mentioned, repeat clients that we have worked with for years that just bring us in for, phase 2 or expanded projects or other types of things or execution. The other 10% would either come from just proactive outreach to network. So because I've been involved with the Canadian Association of Research Parks for, almost 15 years, and very involved in the U.S. network. We have a fairly extensive network in Canada and in the U.S. And so we would nurture that network and be very targeted and specific. But now we're looking at 2021, we have a list of communities that were like, ooh, this would be really cool, or this is a sector we really want to work in. A few years ago, for example, we decided we really wanted to do more in clean technology. And so because we have, our VP of Strategy and Positioning, she has her PhD in clean tech, and several of our other team members have masters in either environment or in other types of things. And we sat down as a team and said, this would be really cool to see if we can affect some change in these areas.
And is your business on social media?
We actually just started a LinkedIn account. And I've been the one kind of waiting to do that because we don't want to get sucked into doing a whole bunch of busy work for the sake of being busy.
What about competition? How do you feel about competition? Do you have any? Who would it be? How do you compete?
I think everybody is potential collaborators. So anytime there's new consultants that come into the mix, I usually reach out to them and get to know them and try and understand what they're doing. And if there's an opportunity to work with them, especially like independent consultants that maybe come into the fold, we've often done that, and we've ended up working with them, to be honest. For other larger firms, we compete in our RFPs against Deloitte and EY and KPMG and all those guys, and we are going head-to-head with them. Our main competitors in the space that we're in around developing research parks and innovation districts wouldn't be in Canada, they would be in the US.
So, Laura, tell me, how do you feel about the economy, about the business environment, and about opportunities here in New Brunswick?
I think there's tremendous opportunities in New Brunswick. There are some winners and losers in COVID. And at the front, we've done a ton of analysis on this, being in market research and helping our clients. We did COVID recovery packages. We had them done within 3 weeks of everything getting shut down for COVID. If we look at supply chain issues and we look at food security issues, and we have all of this land and all of these opportunities for increased natural resources development, we would be crazy not to consider that, because that can really help to stimulate the economy. There's an opportunity in tourism. Think about how many people in New Brunswick were normally traveling outside of New Brunswick and stayed here. There's opportunities for remote working, which can help us to deal with our skills shortage, because you could have people working remotely that are maybe in other markets that can take advantage of things like the cybersecurity thriving sector that could really help us to be able to build our economy.
What is the thing that you are most proud of in your career?
Tenacity, probably. I have learned to take rejection very well. And I feel as though that has served me very well over time.
We're always looking for great companies with a unique story to feature on the show. If you have suggestions, please get in touch with us.